I'm Rita Crandall, and this is VBITE. Tonight in Vampire News, they have found vampire finches in the northernmost portion of the cluster of islands known as Galapagos, which are on either side of the equator. And the female doctor, called Dr. Song, writes, it's given them a chance to look across the guts of blood drinkers from different branches of the tree of life. Although the blood is dangerously high in salt and iron and lean on essential nutrients like vitamin B. So they were curious how these little birds are able to process that, so they compared them very closely to vampire bats and found that they share a bacteria in their stomach that enables them to break down the sodium and iron. So what I found interesting about this is that Wolf Island and Darwin Island are the two most off-limit islands in this cluster, and Darwin Island was studied by Charles Darwin, thus the name. And he studied it because he was, looking at evolution. And so vampire creatures are in every culture, and now we find that they are even on the island that Darwin studied for the study of evolution. Pretty fascinating. Okay, one of our followers, her name is Serena Carnes, wrote that last week I talked about the castle from the the Rocky Horror Picture Show film, and she says that castle was actually used for many films, including one called Vampires from 1974 that was actually remade in 2016, and I was not able to watch the film. Everywhere I went, either Prime or Netflix, it was not available, so I will find it and watch it, and I will review it. In the meantime, though, I found a film called Styria, and if you Google it, you'll find you can watch a preview under the name Styria, but it was actually released in Prime under Angels of Darkness. What's interesting about that is that the TV show The Alienist, about a serial killer from 1800s New York, the sequel is going to be called Angels of Darkness. So I don't know if they knew about that, but this movie just came out, and Styria / Angels of Darkness is a very beautiful vampire film, beautifully cinematography. It's about a young girl who has to go to Styria, which is in Austria, with her father, who is a historian and art collector, and he is given permission before they destroy this castle there to take the murals off the walls, and they are really fascinating. Anyway, she helps a young girl who was in a car accident named Carmela, if that tells you anything, and is led into a kind of an adventure of vampirism. So I really enjoyed it. Nice film. The other one is the Transfiguration, which is considered a vampire film. It's a pretty dark film, kind of slow moving, but definitely worth a watch. It has a very nice ending, and I enjoyed it, even though, like I said, it was a little dark and slow moving and more about, I guess, human nature. Okay, from the film Styria, there was a nursery rhyme in the very beginning. When the dark queen rises, you will tremble with fright, for the foolish king's folly shall be paid for tonight. That's from 1826 Styria. And it made me think about some of the nursery rhymes and also children's stories we have in Germany. There's one called Strubbelpeter, and there's one called Max and Moritz, which is a compilation. Actually, Beavis and Butthead was kind of modern, or molded after that. But they're terrifying. And they are supposed to make children not be bad, and it sure worked for me when I was young, because they were very scary stories. Okay, from our wonderful sponsor, Boutique to Vampire, they have a new artist, or we have a new artist, James Mennitt, who does old-fashioned style wooden blocks for artwork. Very popular in newspaper print of the day, and also in Penny Dreadfuls. I highly encourage you to go by the shop. This is one sample of one wood block print. So each time he does a different print from that wood block, it ends up being very different depending on the colors he chooses to run over and little intricacies, and he can actually continue to carve on the block and change it a bit. So it's a really neat form of art, and like I said, it's kind of a lost form of art, and we have many different ones at the shop. So come by and take a look, and I think you'll be impressed. And that's it for Vampire News. We'll see you next week on VBITE.